Welcome back. You're locked on to the SABC News channel. Well, heavy traffic is expected on all major routes as holidaymakers head home after the festive season. Well, for an update from Limpopo, let's chat to the Transport and Community Safety MEC, Mr. Dickson Masemola. Good afternoon, Mr. Masemola, and thank you for your time on the SABC News Desk.
Good afternoon, and afternoon to all your listeners throughout the country.
Dickson, how are traffic volumes looking like today? We are fast approaching nightfall, and it's a time of the year where many people are now making their way back to home and their places of work.
Yes, this side of the country in our province of Limpopo, as you would know, that Limpopo is a gateway to Africa and therefore a transit of many motorists who travel within the country from Gauteng but also beyond the boundaries of our country. To date, as we are now entered the new year and we are expecting many people to be returning back to their places of work, and to be specific in Gauteng, and will be traveling throughout the roads of the province. So far today, from 12 o'clock up until just after 2, at average, we were able to record 1,500 cars per hour going through the toll gates of the province, which therefore indicates that the traffic is actually now increasing and picking up, and therefore we should be in a better position from the law enforcement authority to be on alert and be sure that we are able to work together with the motorists for them to travel safely until they reach their various destinations.
Dickson, of course, you've had an intensified road safety campaign over the past few weeks. Then, of course, there's heightened visibility of law enforcement on major routes with an increase in the number of road traffic officials. What are you mostly observing at roadblocks, etc., and on the major routes when it comes to motorists' behavior and conduct? What are some of the reoccurring offences you're seeing thus far?
Yeah, no, we indeed had a very intensive law enforcement on the roads of the province, many roadblocks that we conducted on many roads of the province. Generally, what we have seen, and which continues to be a very worrying point, is that we have arrested quite a lot of people who were drinking, who were driving while they were drunk. That's the first thing. Drunken driving is one point. The second thing, a lot of public transport, to be specific, taxis in particular. We actually impounded quite a lot of them, which were traveling without valid documents. Permits were not there. Some of them were not even roadworthy. We have seen a continuous problem of our African brothers, most specifically coming from Zim and other parts of the continent, who were traveling in and out of the country without valid documents. And when you ask them exactly what is the problem, they will tell you that we were not able to go through the main gate of the port of entry, but we went through other routes. We swam, we crossed there. But the movement in and out of the country of these African brothers and sisters without valid documents, but also many other cars which were not roadworthy. Their engine numbers, you could see that they were tampered with, and when we circulated some of them, you could actually see that there's a car which is probably staying somewhere, is not working, but the other one, which is a replica of it, is on the roads of the province. So all those factors put together, they point to a need for law enforcement and traffic officers in particular to be very alert and vigilant when we actually check these cars on many roadblocks throughout the province. But of course, those ones who were illegal on the roads, we impounded some. Many people were also arrested for driving cars which are very suspicious.
Dickson, we can have the best law enforcement, a great deal of police visibility and so on, but it does come down to drivers' attitudes and their road behavior. That's also crucial. So when it comes to things like road courtesy, patience, etc., what are your impressions of motorist attitudes this holiday season?
Well, from various media platforms, as we're interacting with the road users and motorists, to be more specific, to try to actually caution them about the road safety and the need for them to be very responsible, for them to be very disciplined, and also cooperate with law enforcement for them to travel safely and reach their various destinations. I think generally there was a high level of cooperation from many motorists, even though in some instances you would see that there are those that still believe that they can, obviate the law and do things as they wish. And unfortunately, in some instances, they resulted in accidents. And when you check the causes of some of those accidents, you discover that some were drunk, some probably overtook where it's not supposed to be, some were driving unroadworthy vehicles which probably lost control because of their unroadworthiness. But generally, they were cooperating. But it's very important for us to drive the message very seriously, because the behavior of road users, as it was proved by RTMC, 72% of accidents on the roads of the country is precisely because of the attitude and the behavior of motorists. And now, if we are able to, change and enable them to undergo through, reconstruction of their souls, so that they become responsible, disciplined, honest drivers on the roads of the province and the country in general, I'm quite certain that we might see a significant, if not a considerable, reduction of fatalities and crashes on the roads, so that many lives could be saved. So we just need to work on the behavioral conduct of motorists, generally through various ways of interaction, including, of course, tightening the law so that they can get very serious sentences as and when they break the law by just behaving in a manner that they put other motorists and other road users in danger.
Thank you, Dickson. That was Mr. Dickson Masemola. He's the Limpopo Transport and Community Safety MEC on the line there. He's telling us that between midday to 2 p.m. today, 1,500 cars per hour were passing through the major toll gates in that province. Drunken driving, speeding and non-roadworthy vehicles, common offences. Well, let's move to another province.